This might sound like a bad joke, but what does Chinese ramen, Japanese pudding, and a robot barista all have in common? They're all located on one long street in this downtown edition of Tokyo Tours. Welcome to Tsukiji Station. Now, I admit when I first moved to Japan, Tsukiji had in my mind like it was a fish market, right? So I thought that when I came out of the station, I'd kind of be like in this marketplace area, but I was very surprised to discover that I'm really just like in the heart of the city. Now, good news for accessibility, there are actually 3 elevators at Tsukiji Market, and they have all these things about like taking the underpass to get under the trains and stuff. Nah, just take whatever elevator up to the surface, and then you can easily cross at the lights. It's way easier than going underneath the train tracks and around. Now, although the main Tsukiji Fish Market has moved to a different part of Tokyo, that doesn't mean there's nothing to explore there, and so we're gonna be heading there today. All right, to the market. Now, when you leave Tsukiji Station, you're going to be on the main road, and you're going to be tempted to take this road all the way to Tsukiji Market. But if you take a step back, you'll see that there is a tree-lined back street. It's much quieter, it's kind of got cool things to look at, and it's a much more local experience. Plus, back street's back. All right. Of course, I'm stopping at a vending machine. Why? Because this one's pretty neato Cheeto, coming from burritos, Don Cheeto, and a Speedo. That's right, it's got Kit Kats, milk, potato chips, these weird little snacky cookies, and all the juice and all the Coke and all the stuff that it's got. Actually, it doesn't have Coke, I take that back, but it's so cool. Like, I just need a vending machine Kit Kat. I thought I would get over this being in Japan for so long, but I haven't. Probably because I love milk. Vending machine milk. There are fishy details and murals hiding, and some not hiding at all, as you approach the streets that lead to Tsukiji Outer Market. You're going to be crossing a major busy road, and now you're entering the Outer Market from the back. Welcome to the Tsukiji Outer Market. Now, I will say, this place used to be packed in the prime. It was like going to an amusement park. But today is a Wednesday, and a lot of things in Japan close on very odd days of the week. So make sure you check beforehand, Twitter, Instagram, or Google Map to make sure the place you're aiming for is open. I'm sorry, pigeons. I have no food. I'm slowly being surrounded by pigeons. I have no food. Even though many shops are closed on Wednesday, it still has a nice bustling vibe. And although the inner fish market has relocated to Toyosu in 2018, the famed restaurants of Outer Tsukiji Market are still serving up fresh sushi and sashimi sourced from the new fish market. And many of these sushi shops continue to be open as early as 5 a.m. Also, make sure you take a peek down the narrow alleys, and you'll be rewarded with hidden restaurants that are still serving the locals. Ippon onegaishimasu.
はい。600円の一つ。これどうですか？
コクでお願いします。はい。
あそこポン酢でもあります。はい。
はい。Not part of my plan, but I couldn't resist. As you know, I love namakaki.
はい。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
はい、どうぞ。ありがとうございます。
Ponzu sauce. Ponzu is like not an orange, but citrusy. I'm gonna shoot it back and as elegantly as possible. It probably isn't very elegantly at all. Maybe I should scoop it. I might scoop slurp. Not the normal thing to eat in the morning, but I do love myself a fresh, salty, briny oyster. It was actually really delicious. I just think I need to have a tiny belt with hot sauce on it, so I can just be like, hot sauce, whenever I need it. If you're in the neighborhood, swing on by the Tsukiji Outer Market. It's a lot more than just seafood. They also have an amazing knife shop. Just maybe avoid Wednesdays. downtown Tokyo. I'm in like a big part of the busy city. You can always find some greenery or some sneaky back streets. I really recommend just taking one block away from the main road, like just over this way. That's the busy part. There's all these cars rushing past, but just one block over, I've got this beautiful greenery. So I'm gonna be walking parallel to the main street to my next destination. And when I say next destination, I mean my first destination. Tsukiji was not actually part of my Tokyo tour plan today, but I was curious about how it was doing, and it turned out to be a nice detour and reminder to give yourself some space for spontaneity in your travel plans. This is what my mom does in every vacation photo. She gets between or around foliage and she's like, take a photo, Martina. Take a photo. Take a photo of me here. My mom is totally gonna comment on this in the comment section.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Oh, you're so pretty. Yes, you are. You're so nice. You have such nice groomed fur. You do. I know. Huh? Kawaii. Thanks. Bye, enjoy your walk.
I can't help but feel there's something I'm supposed to be doing. Ah yes, on to the food. Now, something interesting about hanging around in a business area as opposed to hanging around in an area that's a little more touristy is that it can feel kind of like empty, like there's nothing to do around here because everybody's in the office buildings, everybody's working. If you come to a shop around like 12 o'clock, 12:30 when people are eating, you're gonna see everybody out filling up these restaurants. But like, can you find anything that's good, or is it just meant to be go, go, go? I think you can find something good, but it does take a little bit of digging. And dig I have. We're walking over to Hashigo Irefune, a Chinese-style ramen shop that's been serving local salarymen and women and going strong for over 30 years. The stark white and blue city just outside the doors is nicely contrasted by wooden everything and extremely warm lighting. Now, the menu here is pretty simple. Tantanmen is their specialty, and you can order the number 1, which is a classic Szechuan spicy noodle, while the rest of the choices will add more types of veg or meat, and they offer different noodle thickness. As I've eaten here before, I'm ordering something new today. Number 2, Zasai Tantanmen. It's served with pork belly and stir-fried mustard greens, and the Chinese pickle Zasai, which is the stem of the mustard plant. It's been salted, dried, and rubbed with chili oil paste before fermenting, in a very similar way that's used to make Korean-style kimchi. Yes, this looks very red and spicy, but let me just tell you, it's all bark and no bite. It's super easy to eat. I mean, look at these thin egg noodles just sopping up the broth and catching little bits of minced pork. It was surprisingly light on the stomach, and the famous pickled veg brings a crunchy, savory, funky taste. The pork belly just fell apart, not gummy tough meat here at all. And heads up, when you order ramen, you'll be asked if you want rice with it. It is free of charge, so do as the locals do. Scoop a huge pile of pickles onto it and enjoy. You can also use it to sop up the leftover ramen broth. Now, be aware, the Americanized version of Tantanmen tends to be very creamy, peanutty, or sesame oil heavy, but OG Chinese Szechuan Tantanmen is a bit different. And also, I recommend ordering their handmade shumai. It is super delicious. However, as I have more to eat today, I resisted the urge. A couple of notes about this ramen shop. This is a very real vibe, and what I mean is we are basically surrounded by apartment buildings and offices and construction and like highways. This is not something that's like, retired folk hanging out and chatting with the locals. Everyone there, every time I go there, is usually men. I'm usually like the only woman. People are in their business suits, they're coming from work, they're in between work, everyone's looking at their phones. It's kind of like a no-nonsense ramen shop. And since this ramen shop is serving tantanmen, which is not actually Japanese, it's Chinese, but it's like the Japanese version of a Chinese ramen, everyone at the shop does speak Japanese, but you'll actually hear them speaking to each other in Chinese. Guys, I never know what to say. Mandarin, Cantonese, I never know, but they're not just speaking Japanese. So the vibe of the place is quite like no frills. It doesn't have over-the-top friendliness that you get at Japanese places. They're not friendly. It's just kind of like, what do you want? Here's your food, here's your bill. So don't take it personally and be like, oh, they're not friendly to foreigners. No, they're just kind of like serving up food, turning around quickly. So just go there and enjoy that freaking delicious ramen that's been around for decades. Now you wouldn't be able to guess from amongst all this hustle and bustle of business people going everywhere and construction sounds and people delivering things and cars zooming past that there is an incredibly cozy coffee shop awaiting you on the second floor.
And it's called second floor as well, so that's part of it.
I came across this cafe on a rainy day. I was searching for coffee, but instead I discovered this place who's famous for their Japanese pudding. As the name implies, second floor is located on the second floor, so accessibility is tricky as there is no elevator. But for me, it was worth the knee pain. Second floor is like stepping into an auntie's home and waiting at the kitchen table for their delicious baked goods. The owners encourage a particular kind of atmosphere, so you won't see anyone working here, as there's a no laptop policy. Instead, you'll see people reading actual books or chatting with their friends quietly. The menu offers loose leaf tea, hand drip coffee, as well as other drink options. They specialize in Japanese pudding and homemade scones, and today the menu offered a scone sandwich served with roasted sweet potato, Japanese sweet red bean paste, and butter. They called it yaki imo anbata, and this is not normal for a Japanese menu, so I was intrigued. Look at this towering masterpiece. Freshly baked, light and moist, buttery scones served warm with thick buttered bottoms. It comes with a beaker of dark maple syrup that you pour over the soft roasted sweet potato. As a Canadian, I approve. And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, where has this been my whole life? Now their pudding is popular, but I want you to believe the hype. It's silky, rich custard that stands no chance against this wee spoon. There's no thick skin, gelatinous touch, or airy bubbles. It's just well-crafted, slow-baked silky custard, not too sweet, with a lovely taste of vanilla, topped off with a perfect caramel sauce. Now, be warned, because it's so popular, see that guy behind me? He ordered it too, but as I entered the cafe just before him, they gave me the last one. We can count our lucky Tokyo Tour stars, and I am one happy Captain Martina. Oh yeah, it's just so good. Before we leave this downtown business neighborhood of Tokyo, where we have discovered a plethora of delicious food, I must take you to the oddest little konbini I have ever found. It is a 5 to 10 minute walk away from where we just were. This is not the normal Japanese konbini, it's Robot Mart. Not to be confused with the Robot Restaurant, which is no longer with us. God rest its tacky little soul. Here we've got rows and rows of import food, homemade onigiri, robots, and their own brand of baked goods. There are plugs and charging stations for you to work at, and free Wi-Fi is also available. They have import items from all over Japan as well, ranging from sauce to this here to salt. Oh, and really large bags of Korean stuff. Honey butter popcorn, anyone? The 2000s are calling. Perhaps a giant bag of raboki, which is ramen plus duck. And the candy aisle has worldwide import candy plus adorable Japanese treats. Cat paw and puppy paw jellies. Squee! Yes, Robot Mart is a great spot for souvenirs and a snack. But the most intriguing part is their robot barista. Okay, I'm at the excellent robot coffee shop here, and he's gonna do, or she, or they are going to do a hand drip coffee for me. You get your QR code, I asked for the premium drip coffee, you scan it underneath here, and then magic. It's amazing how far we've come in robotics to see how easily a robot can manage such a delicate process, such as grabbing a tiny paper cup filled with scalding hot liquid. It's also amazing that this coffee costs 600 yen, so I guess the robot must be getting paid. But there are cheaper items on the cafe menu. And speaking of cheap, the baked goods are discounted at nighttime, and it's an incredible bargain. I guess it's the best time to say, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. I've always wanted to say that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just get yourself a scientific robotic arms that's meant to be in deep space, picking up things like alien rock shards to make your hand drip. The test. Yes. Actually, not bad. I would take it over Konbini coffee any day. Thank you, Robot-san. With the sun setting, the izakayas light up, and the salarymen and women head out to start their evenings. But as for me, I'm heading home. I hope you enjoyed this Tokyo Tours. Links to all the shops I visited are in the YouTube info box. And if you like what I'm making, please consider supporting these adventures by becoming a member of the channel via Patreon or YouTube. And just a really big thanks to those of you who are members already. It really honestly helps me to keep creating Tokyo Tours and all of the other videos on my channel. Keep keeping it cool in the King Kogi village, and I'll see you on the airship.